I'm Rachel Higgins, and this is my Nurture Shock Chapter 4 presentation. Chapter 4 is entitled Why Kids Lie. The beginning quote states, "We may treasure honesty, but the research is clear. Most classic strategies to promote truthfulness just encourage kids to be better liars." Evidence is shown throughout this chapter that supports this quote. Over 100,000 kids are asked to testify in court across America each year. With that, would you be able to identify if a kid is lying? In a study where kids ages 7 through 11 were given stories to tell about a time when they were bullied, each child was given a fabricated story and a real one. The testers failed to be as accurate as they hoped, scoring only 3 out of 8 and 4 out of 8. Police officers scored around 45%, and teachers scoring around 60%. In another study, kids were asked to identify toys while they were not looking. The third and final toy was near impossible to guess, yet when the woman left the room and returned, the child was somehow able to guess what the toy was. But how? Through cheating, that's how. When asked, the kid would lie. He fabricated a story of how he was able to guess what the toy was. In this study, 1/3 of 3-year-olds looked at the toy while the woman was out of the room, but they would admit to it. However, over 80% of 4-year-olds peeked at the toy while the woman was out of the room, and 80% of whom lied about it following. About 4 years old is the time that kids will begin to experiment with lying. Many books and information state that kids will grow out of lying, when in fact, kids grow into it. 4-year-olds lie once every 2 hours, and 6-year-olds will lie once every 6 hours. Parents address the problem or the incident that occurred, but not the cover-up. In order to deem something as a lie, one must recognize the truth. Thus, it is identified as a developmental milestone, as it requires cognitive ability and social skills. The question is then, why do kids lie? Younger children tend to lie to avoid punishment, while other kids use it as a part of social relations. And some kids use it as a coping mechanism. After being read 2 books, one of which was The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and the other, George Washington and the Cherry Tree, 75% of lying in boys and 50% in girls was reduced by the story of George Washington and the Cherry Tree, due to George receiving immunity and praise for telling the truth, instead of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where he told lies to escape punishment. Thus, parents need to teach kids the worth of honesty, just as much as they need to say that lying is wrong. They are trying to please parents, and kids learn lying in part from us. In addition, kids who tattled would get reprimanded by their parents instead of those who did the actual discretion. Thus, people would keep things from their parents to avoid punishment. In addition, parents lie too, so it is really important that parents are aware that what they are doing in front of their kids and what they say definitely has an effect on them. So, where do we go from here? In social work, it is important to empower our clients and their parents, if we're working with kids, to understand and have a good idea of things going on. So, by educating the kids on lying, as well as the parents and how to approach lying, we can help reduce it. One thing that really stood out to me was the fact of the study of George Washington and the Cherry Tree, where it was reduced 75% in boys and 50% in girls as far as lying goes, just because George Washington was offered praise for telling the truth. I think that it's important that we educate everybody on how to offer praise and how to address lying in order to decrease this in the future, as well as teaching the parents that their actions, have consequences as well. Thank you.